day or night, depending on where you are or what time we're watching this right now. So tonight we are. Sorry, the AC kicked on like just now. I'm turning up the gain a little bit so you can still. Wait. Okay, that should be okay. So tonight we are doing like another video where I go into Reddit and I read a bunch of posts and we decide whether or not the person is an asshole or not, basically, because it's from the really popular subreddit Am I the Asshole? So we're gonna be doing that, and so yeah, I haven't done one in a few weeks and I was on to do another one, and that's what we're doing. And if you can't tell, I got the camera at a much higher angle than usual because, I don't know, experimenting, I guess. That's all. But yeah. Try not to sneeze. Okay, we're good. So, we're just going to start reading some. What I do is I kind of like read through the titles and I kind of decide whether or not the story is going to be good or not, or worth the time or not, you know. But I saw one. Where is it? husband are livid. She called me selfish and petty, and I said I was ruining what should be the happiest time of her life over a silly comment. Some family members are taking her side and saying I should have just talked to her after the honeymoon, and that it's wrong to go back on a wedding gift. Others, including my parents, think she was completely out of line and support my decision. I didn't want this to become a bigger drama, but now I feel like I'm being guilt-tripped for reacting to something I had every right to be upset about. I also didn't demand the money back, I just didn't send it. Am I the asshole for pulling the gift after what she did at the wedding? Okay, I wouldn't say so. I mean, you told her specifically not to mention it, and for her to not only mention it, but like, to make a joke out of it by calling you, by like, saying you were useless until now because of that. Even though it was a joke, it's still a bit far, especially in front of all those people at a wedding. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd say you're not the asshole. The sister, I mean, she is an asshole, I guess, for what she did. But trying to see through her eyes, she just saw it as like a joke and probably didn't think much of it. Like I know she didn't like intentionally humiliate the poster of this story. So I don't know. I feel like if they both would have just been a bit more open to talking about it, it could have gone better for both sides, you know. But yeah, overall, I'm definitely more on the side of the poster of the story, the sister who took back the money. So at least that's my thoughts on it. But y'all feel free to say whatever you feel like saying about any of these stories if you want to, you know. I'd love to hear y'all's opinion on if you agree or not and all that. Okay, okay, hang on. How long is this one? Okay, I kind of want to read this one. Okay, it says, am I the asshole, a 21-year-old guy, for asking my friend, another 20-year-old guy, to stop going out with my ex, a 28-year-old female? Yeah, I want to read this one. Okay, I was dating a girl who became my first real girlfriend. We broke up because my parents didn't approve since she was trans. My mom even asked around at her clinic job and found out her dead name. My mom had a friend that worked at the same clinic as my ex. What's her dead name? Oh wait, is that like when you're trans, is that like the name you were born with, and then once you know, transition, you get a new name, right? So then, would your first name be your dead name then? Is that how it, that kind of sounds like how it is. Dead name, I think. Okay. I thought that was wrong and told my girlfriend, but she broke up with me over the phone, asking me to leave her alone. I felt awful for dragging her through something she had already faced in a past relationship. Months later, she contacted me again. In the meantime, months later, she contacted me again. In the meantime, one of my friends had become close to they started going out. I broke down, drank, and sent her messages I later deleted. She called me over and we spent the day together being affectionate but not romantic. She said a relationship with me wasn't possible for now, that she only wanted casual hookups with my friend, but if she wanted a boyfriend again, she'd come back to me. I accepted it, even though it hurt. The following month was rough. I told her I still loved her, even after everything she had done to me, that I couldn't live without her. I stopped because she said that made her feel scared. I felt horrible and eventually told my friend I couldn't handle it. He was surprised and said he thought everything was fine, but he'd stopped seeing her. Minutes later, she called me saying it wasn't my business who she was with, that I had been her worst boyfriend, that she hates me and to forget everything, and that she never wanted to see me again. I also found out that she cried with him the previous day, saying how she still liked me a lot, and it felt really bad for me. However, also found out she never told him how bad I felt and even flirted with another friend of mine. Now I feel guilty for making her feel bad, like I ruined something that made her happy after all the complications with me. At the same time, thinking about them together made me feel sick. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this one is kind of yeah, I'd say this one's kind of like borderline. Actually, you know what? It's just okay. Here it is. I think overall, this guy, right? Yeah, this guy is a bit of an asshole. I think we have our first official actual asshole. We've had one before, I think, but it's very rare that the poster is an asshole. But yeah, this guy seems to be one, because, let me explain. So, him and his girlfriend broke up, right? And they tried to make it work, though, and they got back together, and it was okay for a month. They broke up again because of his parents' views on everything and stuff like that. She got with his friend, and he felt very hurt about that. This is where it gets kind of like really close, because I do understand that the friend probably shouldn't have hooked up with his ex. Maybe they could have like talked and he could have been there for her, but hooking up with her, it's a bit much. However, for him to call her and like basically love dump or love bomb her and say all these things while they're not together, and ask the friend behind her back to stop seeing her, rather than just like talking to them both about it and explaining how he felt and how he felt hurt about it. I'd say all that definitely wasn't the right choice. So overall, the friend probably shouldn't have hooked up with the ex, and the ex shouldn't have hooked up with the friend, but it was good that they at least were talking. But to hook up, it's a bit much. But the way that the poster went about dealing with that was definitely wrong. And he was trying to force something that just of an asshole. Y'all get what I'm saying? I know I kind of over-explained that one a bit, but hopefully it made sense. Yeah, okay. Let's find a third one. Okay. I'm just gonna scroll because usually how I sort this is like I do like the top posts, but this time I just did the new ones because I didn't want to repeat any of the ones that I've already done. So I'm just going through the new ones, and since it's not top ones, not all of them are like sounding that juicy, you know. Like this one, it just says, "Am I the asshole because my boyfriend ordered pizza and I didn't eat it?" Y'all see what I mean? Like, a lot of them are just really bland sounding like that. So it takes me a minute to find a good sounding one. Unless y'all want to hear about the reasons this person won't eat pizza that the boyfriend ordered. Who knows? Okay. There's a lot of posts about weddings, surprisingly. I mean, yeah, kind of surprising. Okay. Okay. This one. And this one's pretty short. My best friend is furious. I didn't choose her as maid of honor. Now she's threatening to skip my wedding. Okay. Let's see how this one goes. I, 27 and female, am getting married in December, and I recently asked my cousin, a 29-year-old female, to be my maid of honor. She's basically my sister. We grew up together, and she's been there for me through every major life event. The problem is, my best friend Lily, a 28-year-old female, and we've been close for over 10 years, and when I announced my engagement, she assumed she'd automatically be my maid of honor. When I told her I'd chosen my cousin instead, she completely lost it. Lily accused me of betraying her, and said I owed her the title because she's been by my side longer than anyone. She even posted a passive-aggressive rant on Instagram about fake friends who use you when it's convenient. Since then, she's been distant and cold. Last week, she told me outright that if she's not the maid of honor, she won't come to the wedding at all because it would be too painful to watch someone else take her place. I'm honestly heartbroken because I always imagined Lily being part of my big day. But I also feel like this is my wedding, and I should be able to choose whoever I want for the role without being guilt-tripped. My fiance thinks Lily is overreacting and says we should just let her sit with her feelings. My mom, on the other hand, thinks I should fix things because losing a friend over this isn't worth it. So am I the asshole for not choosing my best friend as my maid of honor and refusing to change my mind? This one is pretty straightforward. No, you're not the asshole, and your friend is manipulative, childish, controlling, and thinks she can just, because she's your best friend, she thinks that she... Okay. This line, hang on, let me find it. This one line on its own just made it so easy to decide. This one, when she said, Lily accused me of betraying her and said I owed her the title because she's been by my side longer than anyone. That right there on its own made it clear that Lily is an asshole. When you bring up being owed something because you've been with somebody for so long or done something for them, to say that you're owed something, that makes you such an asshole. I don't care what you say. If, like, you're in a relationship with someone, like a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you stick with somebody, and you stick with them through hard times, and you're just there for them for support, and then something happens to where you need, like, I don't know, some money or some time away, and you expect your partner to chip in or do that for you because you were there for them, and you basically demand it, and they don't do it, so because of that, you get mad at them or in things or something like Lily's doing here. That is so unbelievably messed up and selfish. It just, it's not a good thing, you know, to try and say you're owed something just because you were being a decent human being and a good friend, and now you're owed something. That has never sat right with me, and it never will, because that is just selfish and childish. It's like when you're in, like, preschool or elementary school, and because you, I don't know, because you, here we go, because you shared your chicken nuggets at lunch with someone, you now think you're owed their spot as line leader. That's basically the same thing. It's childish and dumb. And so, yeah, if y'all can't tell, when stuff gets like, when people are like that, like, I've known people that are like that, and it's just not right, you know, it's just, and the person that you do it to, the one that you were there for and now are demanding something in return for it, it is like the biggest backstab feeling, you know. So yeah, Lily does not deserve to be maid of honor anymore whatsoever. And even if you lose that friendship, good riddance, you know, probably for the best. I mean, Lily just showed her true colors. Took 10 years, but I mean, there you go, you know. Yeah, yikes. Okay. Okay, this one's very short, but the title is crazy. The title is crazy for this one. This one's really short, so it better be good. They better explain themselves very quickly. Listen to this title. Am I the asshole for suggesting a grieving mother's behavior is inappropriate? Let that sink in. This mother better have done something absolutely insane and unhinged. And even so, a grieving mom, if you lost a kid, I think any reaction, probably even like holding up a gas station, would be somewhat justifiable. Like the state that you're in, you know. Okay, let's see what this says. I want some perspective here. Some girl I don't really know that well, that I'm friends with on Facebook, posts once a year about a baby she lost, which is fine. Grief is grief. But she posts a heap of pictures from when the baby was born, already very much dead. Her posts are always set to public, and I'm guessing she probably has a lot of people added as her friend, as her friend list is in the thousands. This year she posted again, and it's the 6th year, so it's not exactly recent. It's obviously very sad and must have been a major ordeal for her, but I don't think something like this should be shared with the public, and the poor girl probably needs therapy and grief counseling. Myself and a couple other people got chewed out for suggesting it was inappropriate to post such pictures, and I ended up just deleting her, but it gives me major that's how you grieve, if that's what you have to do, then okay, people can just ignore it. But to do it for 6 years in a row, at that point, you do need to talk to someone, okay? But just wow, this one's hard. I feel like the poster is both an asshole and not an asshole because I mean they could just like easily ignore it, I guess, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to ignore something like that, like on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I don't know how it works. It's like Instagram where you just scroll up, and if it's something like that, the only thing you can do is just scroll past it really fast. I don't really think there's any other way to ignore things like that. So you can't really ignore it because you still saw it. It's still registered with your mind with what it was to have you to scroll past it really fast, you know? So you still saw it. You still knew what it was, and it still messed up. So I think it just depends on what you commented to decide whether or not you're an asshole. If like you were really, really gentle and kind about it, and just suggested that maybe you set it to private or something, then I think that's pretty well justified. But if you were like really rude about it and said you gotta stop posting about a dead baby or something like that, you are 100% an asshole. Yeah, it kind of just depends on how you went about commenting, I guess. But yeah, that one's tough. That one's tough. Yeah. Man. Oh man. Okay. Now, let's see what else we got. Okay. Oh, wait. This one's pretty long. And I've already kind of read stories about this type of topic in my other videos, I think, so we're not going to do that this one. Oh, wait, here we go. This one doesn't even have anything to it, it's just the title. Am I the asshole for thinking a lot of Am I the Asshole posts are fake, boring, and attention-seeking? Am I in the wrong? Nah, I wouldn't say so. If people are faking these posts, and I've read some of the fake ones, I haven't been able to tell. None of the ones that I've read are that boring, though. They're all pretty intense and dramatic. If any of the ones that I've read are fake, though, then I mean, it's fine if some of them are fake, but like the last one I read, if you involve something like that messed up about a dead baby, then yeah, it's pretty messed up to do and make up something like that, you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't really think any of the posts are boring, though, honestly. Okay. Okay, here we go. Am I the asshole for telling my mom to stop making her relationship my problem and involving me when things go wrong? Alright, let's see. My mom, a 51-year-old woman, has been in an incredibly toxic and downright annoying on and off relationship with this man, a 47-year-old guy, for the last 5 years now. I'm a grown woman. This man is not my stepdad, and I've never seen him as such. I keep him at arm's length and privately. I've never liked him, but purely for my mom, I'm is a whirlwind. One moment they're so in love and gonna be happier. Next moment they're fighting aggressively. It's nasty and horrible, and they're both insane. They will split and then realize they can't live without each other, and they'll get back together. This has been a constant thing that happens in their relationship, and usually myself and my sibling has to pick up the pieces when my mom is an absolute mental wreck. And we have to take her in for days or weeks at a time when her man kicks her out. He made her sell her home to move in with him, and she did. But it's gotten to a point now where neither me or my sibling want to be involved anymore in the drama of it all. Our mom does this to herself. She always crawls back to him every single time. And even though we've tried to tell her so many times, she can't see how horrible and toxic this relationship is. So we've decided to finally wash our hands with it. They split again recently, a couple of days ago. Both me and my siblings told our mom she couldn't stay with us, so she's currently going to be couch hopping at friends' houses. This breakup was just like most of the others, an aggressive fight, a disagreement, mental strain, etc. I also want you all to be aware my mother is not a pure victim in any of these nasty fights. She's no angel and does her bad bit in this relationship. Me and my sibling have told her this time that we're sick of it. She'll be back with him in a couple of weeks. And when she does inevitably crawl back to him, he will no longer be welcome at our doors, and we want nothing to do with him or their relationship. And that when shit like this happens, to not come to us with it. This has really upset our mom, but we don't really feel bad about it. I mean, okay, that's it. Well, as long as you have made it clear that you all know this relationship is, or as long as you all have made it clear to her about your thoughts about the relationship and how toxic and bad it is, and that you've, really tried with her for years, I'd say you're not the asshole for finally putting an end to it, Maybe now she'll realize. I mean, I feel like hopefully the mom will now realize the strain that this insanely toxic relationship is putting on her other relationships, most of all with her own children. And then she'll realize for herself how toxic it is and finally be done with it. So maybe what they're doing is honestly a really good decision to kind of like push the mom to snap out of it, to end the cycle. And, but yeah, I'd say the people are not, or the siblings are not the assholes in this situation. The mom, I mean, isn't really an asshole, but I guess can be. But yeah, with relationships like that, I mean, people like genuinely feel like they're meant to be in a relationship like that when they don't even realize it, or like they're drawn to it and they are okay with being in relationships like that, even though they don't realize they don't have to be. It doesn't really make sense when I try to explain it, because looking at it at face value, it doesn't make sense. Why would you be says I'm not getting back into a relationship with her just because she's now pregnant. Sounds crazy. And then the other one says, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hang on. There's another one. Here we go. This one says, am I the asshole for not letting my stepson email his mom every time he's upset at our house? Okay, that's the one I'm gonna read. If y'all want me to read the one about the pregnant one, then let me know and I could do that next time. But whenever step parents try to take control like that, especially for the purpose to limit conversations with the kid and their biological parent, I immediately gotta know more, you know? Okay. My husband and I have been a blended family for about 3 years. We have a 9-year-old stepson, and then a biological 5-year-old son, and our daughter, who is 1. When I first met, hang on, she's using, abbreviations. Oh, okay. She said when I first met DH, I was trying to figure out who DH is. I guess that's the dad. He was the definition of a Disney dad. No rules, no limits, all money spent on fun and outings. Naturally, the stepson loved it and would beg to be at his dad's instead of his mom's. I'm the opposite. I believe in structure, chores, routines, and saving for vacations instead of blowing money every weekend. My son always had age-appropriate responsibilities, and we did things together as a family. Once we blended, and especially after the baby, we really had to create a consistent household now that we all lived together. Every child has one daily chore and is expected to go clean up after themselves. If the kids fight or are rude, they go to their rooms for a short timeout. Here's where it gets hard. Whenever the 9-year-old stepson is in timeout or doesn't like a rule, he immediately emails his mom telling her how much he hates us and our home. His mom uses those emails to argue against 50-50 custody and is pushing for every other weekend. The thing is, her house has no structure. He's on screens for 10 plus hours a day. The house is cluttered, she struggles with depression, and he feels like he has to take care of her. She lets him miss tons of school, and if she works, he just sits in her workplace all day on a device. She and grandma both think a 9-year-old should choose where to live, and the dad used to go along with that too. But I don't think it's healthy to give a child that much power. He doesn't get to decide if he showers, if he goes to school, or where he lives. At our house, he has a bedtime, consequences, and expectations. I honestly don't think we should lose custody just because we give him a routine. My thought is that the stepson shouldn't be allowed to immediately email his mom every time something doesn't go his way, because it undermines us and makes him feel like normal rules are abuse. So am I the asshole for wanting to stop this and insisting he can't run to his mom every time we enforce a basic rule? And then the poster of this made an edit at the bottom. She said, the stepson and her have a great relationship. He often asks for one-on-one time, and I am very respectful to his boundaries and relationships. I am consulting because I feel lost in this. Therapy and creating a log is first steps. I know my place, trust me. Being a step parent is isn't for the weak. I absolutely know I have no legal standing, but all the responsibility as a biological parent, like clothing, feeding, school pickups, conferences, good days, bad days. Okay. Well, I would say you're absolutely not the asshole, actually. If the biological mom is that, like, disorganized and lets the son skip school and be on electronics all day, naturally the son is gonna love that because he's only 9 and doesn't realize that's not good. um, but I mean, I also understand. I'm glad that she made the edit at the end because, like, she knows her place as a step parent, and she also knows her ways as a mom, and the way she mothers is a good way to have structure like that. Bedtime, punishments, a routine, free time when you can have free time, standard stuff of a good parent, Because if you're like the Disney dad or the other mom and just let your kid do whatever they want, they're gonna grow up spoiled and entitled, which is kind of what the son is going through. If he runs to his mom every time he doesn't get his way, if you don't put him into that, it's just gonna get worse and worse. And obviously, I don't think the mom is gonna change anytime soon. So I'd say the step parent is not the asshole in this situation. I just would suggest going about dealing with this very carefully, maybe some family counseling, or maybe consult with the kid, When you said that the kid shouldn't have too much power, you're right. But apparently that's kind of what he's used to, so maybe consulting with him, making him feel like, he has a say because he can have a say. That'll probably go a long way because he'll probably still feel like he's in control a bit there, but he will also be in control, and it might take a while, but that might be a safe route to go, but yeah, stepmom, not the asshole. There isn't really an asshole here, I don't think, but anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts. Anyway, that's about it. That was the last story, so I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know if you want to see a part 5. This was part 4, I think. I think this was part 4. Yeah. But let me know if y'all want me to do more of these. Let me know which of these stories if any of them, you found really interesting or anything like that. I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night. I hope you all are feeling much more relaxed and sleepy compared to before you clicked on this video.